changes men's attitude. It changes men's attitude. Gratitude is so important in life that it looks like it's one of the ruders of life. If you are grateful, you can never live as a fool. No one who is grateful will die as a fool. If you are grateful, someone said your tank will be full. Gratefulness is a major foundation for thriving fruitfulness. A major foundation for thriving fruitfulness. Colossians chapter 2 verse number 7. Colossians chapter 2 verse number 7 encourages our heart to overflow with thanksgiving. To overflow with thanksgiving. Are you there? Colossians chapter 2 verse number 7. I want them to be encouraged and knit together by strong ties of love. I want them to have complete confidence that they understand God's mysterious plan, which is Christ himself. That is verse number 2 I read. Verse number 7, please. Let your roots grow down into him, and let your lives be built on him. Then your faith will grow strong in the truth you were taught, and you will overflow with thankfulness. I'm reading the New Living Translation. He said, you will overflow with thankfulness. All right, the HCSB there also is the same. Say, rooted and built up in him and established in the faith, just as you were taught, and overflowing with thankfulness. Overflowing with thankfulness. Tell your neighbor, if there is anything where you should increase and overflow, it is in gratitude. Let there be overflowing gratitude in your life. Let there be overflowing appreciation in your heart for God. It is so important because your life is a thanksgiving. Your very life is a thanksgiving. Don't allow the devil to blind you to it. You sleep and wake up, you should know that something kept you alive. Overflow with thanksgiving. Overflow with thanksgiving. It is so important. Focus on what you have, not what you don't have. Contentment is found by shifting focus from what you lack to what you possess. You can only live a life of contentment when your focus is not on what you don't have, but on what you have. Be content with such things that you have. Let's look at the book of John. Okay, let's take Philippians chapter 4, verse 11 and 12 first. Philippians 4, 11 and 12. I pray that God will help me to drive something to your life today. Philippians chapter 4, 11 to 12. If you are there, say amen. Philippians 4, 11 to 12. All right, you are there before me, so you are doing good. Not that I was ever in need, Apostle Paul writing, for I have learned how to be content with whatever I have. I have learned how to be content with whatever I have. Listen to me. Contentment is a major foundation for appreciation, for a life of appreciation, for a life of gratitude. Contentment. As long as you are not content where you are not content with what you have, you can never live a life of gratitude. It's not possible. It's not possible. Apostle Paul said, I have learned in whatever state I am to be content. In whatever state I have learned. So contentment is a learned attitude. It's a learned attitude. It's what you learn. You may not be born with it. You learn it. And Apostle Paul said, I have learned to be content with whatever I have. And he goes further to say, in the next verse, verse number 12, I know both how to have a little and I know how to have a lot. If I have a little, I'm good. If I have a lot, I'm good. He said, in any and all circumstances, I have learned. He repeated it again. I have learned the secret of being content. Well, whether well fed or hungry, whether in abundance or in need, I have learned. Somebody say, I've learned. And now let me tell you the truth. Gratitude is what determines the strength of every man's faith. The strength of every man's faith is determined by the spirit of gratitude. Your faith cannot rise above your attitude of gratitude. So learn to be content and learn the spirit of gratitude. Gratitude is a force you cannot ignore in life. Jesus modeled gratitude. Jesus modeled gratitude. In John chapter 11 verse 41 to 42. He came to a place where his friend has been buried. His friend Lazarus was dead and buried. And when he came to the place, what did he do? Instead of him to begin to complain with Mary and Martha, he looked up towards heaven and he said, Father, I thank you. Somebody is dead. Somebody is buried in the grave for 4 days. You are coming to the graveside and you are saying, Father, I thank you. In our generation, before you say the next word, they will carry stone to stone you. Are you mad? My brother is in the grave. You are saying, I thank you. They will not allow you to arrive before they destroy you. Jesus is standing by the graveside of his friend, and he's saying, Father, I thank you. I thank you because you hear me always. He has not prayed. And he's saying, I thank you because even you hear me always. I thank you. Which means he was thanking God for the prayer he has prayed before. You have answered me before. Now there is another issue. I thank you for the one you have done before. The problem we have is that when we have a need, we begin to misbehave. We forget what God has done before. Listen to me. Let me give you one good counsel today. Build your future testimonies on your past. All right, let me rephrase it for you. Build your future victory on your past testimonies. This one of the secrets we discover Jesus manifested here. Father, I thank you because I know you hear me always. Well, yes. When the blind eyes open, you were the one that heard me. When the lame walk, you were the one that did it. Where people ate bread, we were in the wilderness places. We did not know how to feed the millions of people. You were the one that fed us in the wilderness places. And he was reminding God, so the way you have had me before, I thank you for those ones you have done. I thank you. But you know, most of us, When we are standing before a need, how do we approach? We complain. Our eyes are on the present need. Our eyes are on the present request. You know, David conquered Goliath with testimonies of God's greatness. Saul told him, you are not able to go against him. He's a man of war from his youth. But you are just a lad. You are just a youth. You are not able. He said, okay, sir, let me give you testimonies of my escapade. Look at what happened. When I was taking care of my father's sheep, a lion and a bear came. I tore them with my hand. I ran after them and I destroyed them. He did not say my wisdom. He did not say my power. You know what he said? He said, the God who gave me the lion and the bear, that same God will give me this Philistine giant. So you see that gratitude is one of the boosters of your faith. The more you are grateful, the more your faith is boosted. Gratitude is a faith enhancer. It enhances your faith. It boosts your energy, your spiritual energy. It creates a vibration in your spirit for miracles. Gratitude. Gratitude. And after Jesus prayed, let me still come back there. After Jesus prayed, Father, I thank you. You hear me always. After he has thanked him, he turned to grave. He said, Lazarus, he now talked to a dead body. If you have not thanked God, don't talk to a dead body. If you have not thanked God, don't talk to your provision to multiply. If you have not shown appreciation to God for what he has done before, please don't ask for another thing. Is somebody still here? So after he talked to his father, he has thanked him and he turned to the dead body. He turned to grave. He turned to grave. He was not even seeing the dead body. He turned to grave. He said, Lazarus, come forth. The word of God said, he that was dead 4 days came forth, bound hand and foot. He said, loose him and let him go. The secret of rising and soaring in life is the force of gratitude. Rising, soaring in life is anchored on the spirit of gratitude. The force of gratitude will make you to soar. Jesus said in John chapter 3 verse 14, it is written, he said, and if I be lifted up, if I be lifted up, I will draw. Amen. Gratitude. Gratitude has power over the grave. Gratitude has power over lack. Jesus took 2 loaves of bread, 2 fishes. He gave thanks. And lack, the spirit of lack, was defeated. It has power over the grave. It has power over lack. Gratitude. If you want to rise, practice the spirit of gratitude. Practice the spirit of gratitude. Let me tell you this. The necessity of gratitude. Why is gratitude very necessary? Number 1, gratitude is a major glue of relationship with God and man. Gratitude is a major glue of relationship with God and man. It makes your relationship with God to be strong. It makes your relationship with men to be strong. Are you still here? Why did I say that? Let me tell you. God who are grateful jealously. He handled them jealously. When you read the book of Luke chapter 17, you know the story very well. 10 lepers. They were crying to the Savior, please heal us, heal us. And Jesus said, go and show yourself to the priest. And while they were going on the way, they were healed. And as they were healed, all of them, they were rejoicing and going away. And then one of them, who was even a stranger, turned back. So I will go and meet him. I have lived a life of solitude all this while. I have been alone. I have been ostracized. I have been neglected and rejected and despised. But now someone suddenly has just given me hope. I can't just go away like that. I'll go back to him. He turned back. And he came to Jesus. And Jesus saw him coming. And I can perceive Jesus. I can see Jesus still looking on the way. Still looking. Peeping through the way. The streets. To see whether another one is running in. And Jesus asked the question when this one arrived. Came, fell down at the feet of Jesus. Crying, rolling, thanking God. And then Jesus asked the question. But were you not 10 that were healed? I hope I have not made a mistake. If you were 10 that were healed, where are the 9? Help me ask your neighbor, where are the 9? Help me ask your neighbor, where are the 9? You see, most relationships are suffering because of ingratitude. Because of ingratitude. They rejoice away. They forgot the one through whom they will be readmitted and restored back to fellowship. Not only fellowship with their family, they will be restored back to fellowship with their friends. They will be restored back to fellowship with God. Because in their former state, they cannot come into the temple. Now they have right to come into the temple. But they left the one who God used as a channel for their life to restore hope to them. They left him behind. They rejoiced away. And Jesus said, where are the 9? Make a change language. The thing pain Jesus have been no pain now. This is why you see relationships are suffering. Most people, they don't recognize the hand of God in their making. After God has made them, they don't see the hand of God. They don't turn back to say, God, I thank you. Instead, the blessing that God gave, the miracle that God has done in their life, is the miracle that separates them from God himself. You see, they received a miracle, and at the end, they were separated from God. They didn't come back to Jesus. The miracle separated them. Instead of the miracle to strengthen their faith, they were separated. That's what I'm talking about. The force of gratitude. Now, listen to me. Gratitude is what? Is a force that commands wholeness. It commands wholeness. When I talk about wholeness, I'm talking about spiritual fitness or spiritual health, physical health, financial health, mental health, everything. It commands wholeness. Gratitude. that one that came to Jesus, after Jesus had said, where are the 9? Are you the only one that came? Jesus laid hands on him and said, thou art made whole. Somebody say, thou art made whole. Till today, I ask questions. What happened to the rest that did not come? Because Jesus is telling this one, he laid hands on this one, he said, you are made whole. So what happened to those ones? It means that anything can still happen. Am I talking to somebody here? It means that anything can still happen. How are they going to preserve their healing? How are they going to preserve their miracle? Anything can still happen. Gratitude preserves miracles. Gratitude does not open the door of the supernatural alone. It preserves the door of the supernatural. It maintains it and keeps it open. It keeps it open. There are people who have walked through a door once and the door, they never see the door open again. After they walk through the door once, after that the door closes again them. You know why? Because that once, they did not have the spirit of gratitude. They did not have the spirit of gratitude. Gratitude. I know some time ago, I cannot, let me not recount my own stories. I've seen people that slam the door on my face, bam, 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 bam. That if I'm not a child of God, I will make up my mind to be very, very careful. And I know it has happened to you too. Has it not happened to you? Some of us, the best places where you sow your wheat, what you harvest was tares. What came for you as harvest was thorns. Why? Because of the spirit of ingratitude of men. Gratitude is what helps men to have a strong relationship with God, their maker, and also their fellow men. Let me tell you something. If somebody has been instrumental in your life for one day, be very careful the way you turn back on the person. Some time ago, I was telling you, I don't know whether here or somewhere I was preaching. I was telling people, I said, let me give you some things. I said, look at Joseph. Joseph was in the house of Potiphar. Is it not so? Everything began to prosper. And Joseph, Potiphar himself, now his eyes were opened that this Joseph, your God, has turned everything around in my life. But the wife framed him up. Immediately the wife framed him up. Do you know that relationship, Potiphar did not use wisdom to manage the relationship. He carried Joseph. Where did he put Joseph? Can I ask you a question? When he carried Joseph and put him in prison, what was the end of Potiphar? Apart from that place, go and check. Potiphar was not mentioned for once. You know why? Joseph was the fountain of his life. Joseph was the spring of his comfort. His name was not mentioned again. Let me give you another example. Did you hear of Laban? Laban, when Jacob entered the house of Laban, everything about Laban's house began to prosper. So the extent that the eyes of Laban said, I have been serving my God so, but I know that this prosperity is not from my gods. This prosperity, Jacob, since you enter my house, God has blessed me. You know what happened? Laban's children now set him up. Laban's children Instead of them to come with the spirit of gratitude, you know what they did? They came to their father. All the blessing of Jacob, it is from you. All the things that our papa gets, our mama gets, everything we get, Jacob has collected everything. From that day, Laban began to behave with a cunning spirit towards Jacob. Jacob, when Jacob saw the face of Laban, that he was now having a cunning spirit, Jacob now told him, I want to go to my father. I want to go. Leave me, let me go. He said, okay, don't go. Tell me how much I will pay you. Because he thought that, okay, if I'm paying you salary now, you will not be able to steal what belongs to me. Let's negotiate how much I'll pay you. Jacob, you don't know that if he's a trickster, Jacob is a master. Jacob now told him, no, it is not salary. If you are somebody who is living on salary, please begin to plan how to have extra something. Am I talking to somebody here? He said, no, let it not be wages. Let my wages be, let us do it. If the sheep, they give birth to spotted and this and that, anyone that is spotted and this will be yours. Anyone that is not spotted will be mine, and all that and all that. Praise the Lord. All right, so they made the arrangement because Jacob knew. Shebi na me, God said they bring the blessing. Let's try it. Whether it is by your power that you get this blessing, that your children, they say, I'm stealing. Let's try it. If they are spotted, they are mine. If they are not spotted, they are yours. Then they entered. Immediately Laban said, he was not wise. He should have known that the God of this man will turn everything back to who? Was he wise? So Jacob said, hey, let's see now. Let's see where the grace